YouTube, what's going? It's your boy Glow. I'm back with another video. First things first, before we get into any type of anything, I know I look bad, so it's cool. Y'all probably like how you a barber and you know what I'm saying, you don't got a cut. Well, I'm pretty much laced. That's no excuse. I'll say that first. There's no excuse for me not to have a cut because I have my clippers. Let's get straight into the video. Before we get started with anything, subscribe. Let's start there. Please subscribe so I can continue doing what I love to do, which is provide content for y'all. All right, let's get into it. Pretty recently, I've been exploring in different things such as reading. Now, obviously you read stuff every day, but I meant I actually started back reading books, which is kind of crazy because I really put into my brain when I was in high school that I did not like to read, which was somewhat true because I felt like back then I was forced to read what they wanted me to read. But now that I'm older, I can read what I want to. So the first book that I picked up maybe about a month or two ago was a book called Yours Truly. I'm sure you all heard of this book before, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I got this book from Amazon, like I said, maybe about a month ago. It was only about $7 or $8. The reason I chose this book is because I watch a lot of podcasts and I've heard plenty of millionaires and entrepreneurs and just wealthy people talk about them reading this book. So I just wanted to see what all the hype was about, if we're gonna keep it real. I'm gonna try to summarize a little bit of what it's about, what I learned, how I feel about it. Did I make the right choice of reading this? I first got this book because obviously I'm an entrepreneur and I want to get in a different mindset of just the mindset I've always been in all my life. I learned about different perspectives on not only how to look at money and wealth, but how to look at life. And the main points that I got from this book, I'm just gonna summarize it, one was when he talked about people getting caught in the rat race. The rat race is pretty much like people work jobs, right, to pay their bills and to make ends meet, pretty much to live. But the rat race is continuing to do that pretty much your whole life, never inspiring to do anything greater than just work and pay bills. Scenario like employees work just enough to pay their bills and employers pay enough, just enough for you to pay your bills and just enough for you not to quit. I think that statement is very true because how many of us know people out here that all they do is work and go home? They never have a inspiration to start a business. They never want to take vacations. They never want to do anything pretty much to, they never want to get the most out of their life. That's the way I see it. Some people are just comfortable like that, but that's one main point. Another point is he talked about basically he talked to a class and asked them how many of them could make a better hamburger than McDonald's. All of them raised their hand. So he was like, how come McDonald's is pretty much like the #1 burger place in the world? McDonald's doesn't focus on making the best hamburger, but they mainly focus on their marketing and selling parts of their business. That's why they're so successful. Pretty much don't get caught up in just making, I'll use me for example, don't focus so much on making the perfect haircut, making the perfect video. Let's focus on how I can reach more people. Yeah, you want the quality to be good, but I think if you focus too much on just trying to be perfect, you'll put yourself behind financially. I'm gonna say another point he made was his rich dad obviously is not his real dad. It's his friend's Mike's dad. And he's the one who talks about entrepreneurship and pretty much just going after your dreams, and the rich don't work for money, and he's on that type of time, while his real dad, which is his poor dad, is more on you should get a great education, a great job with great benefits, be at his career for X amount of years. Pretty much the way I see it is you got people that's gonna take risks, you got people that's gonna be comfortable. There's nothing wrong with getting an education. There's nothing wrong with finding a career and staying there for, however long, 30, 40 years if you want to. But how many people do you know get rich off of a job, a yearly salary? How many people do you know are happy with their job and can create generational wealth off their job? I don't hate or blame anybody that works a job. I just think if you are gonna work a job, I would be more on the rich dad's side. He's more like, if you're gonna work a job, take something from each job that you work, pretty much bounce around different jobs, take something from a job. So when you start your own company, start your own business, you'll pretty much be molded into the person that you want to be, as far as just sticking with this one job for 20, 30 years and you're making another man rich. And I heard a quote one time that said, you're either gonna take the risk to get rich or you're gonna work for somebody that did. That's one of the realest statements there is. Another key points they talked about was building assets. He teaches about cash flow, he teaches about taxes, he teaches about everything you can think of to do entrepreneurship. He breaks down cash flow and assets in a way that I've never seen or never heard of, and it's actually broke down a way to explain to a 8-year-old or 9-year-old that he said in the book. So it's pictures and it's actually showing why the poor stay poor and the rich are rich. And it goes into more detail about poor people's mindset are versus wealthy people. And then when you read further and further in the book, it makes more sense. Not gonna lie, this book was definitely a great starter book for me as far as like business and changing my mindset on entrepreneurship. And really everybody should read this book. I'm not gonna lie to you. Should rate it out of 10. I'll give it a 9.5. How about that? I'll give it a 9.5. If you like these videos about reading books, I can make a part 2 to this because this was not even half of what I read, but that was just off the top of my head. Like, y'all know me, I don't really write nothing down. The next book that I've been reading, I'm not finished yet, is called, should I tell y'all? I'll tell y'all. The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. I talked about this book in one of my last videos. I'm reading right now. I'm pretty much almost finished, and I like this book better than Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But if you want to know why, drop down in the comments that you're looking for a part 2 or you want me to react to this book. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's go.